Welcome to episode 45 of the Too Critical Podcast. In this week's episode, we talk about the Batman. We have special guests this week: Alex Massey, Luke Chapdelaine, Phil Taylor, and Mitch Hallock. But first, here's a bunch of guys acting like dildos.
Jesus fucking Christ, that bat light's still on? This bill's gonna be out of control.
You telling me a shrimp fried this rise?
Is this like a horror movie? You can't die if you're a virgin? I mean,
I'll live forever.
In an order that would surprise you.
Enough!
I'm vengeance.
That was good. Keep working on it.
I'll switch to cock. Like, if my wife gets over my death that quick, you tell the cops it was her.
I got
Welcome to the Too Critical Podcast. Like and subscribe and smash that fucking like button, or I will hunt you down and stomp your balls in the name of justice.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 45 of the Too Critical Podcast. Tonight we're talking about Matt Reeves' The Batman. But before we do that, we have a couple of special guests this episode who are going to drop in and give us their idea, their reviews of The Batman. So first up to join us is a very good friend of the show, King of the Nerds, Mr. Mitch Hallock. Mitch, take it away.
What? Oh, it's over? Oh. Hey, everybody. It's your old pal, Mr. Terrificon. I'm over here watching the Batman. Or maybe the Batman was watching me since it put me to sleep. Let me just tell you, kids, 3 hours is a long time for anything. I get it. He's depressed. His parents were killed. We know that. We've seen that in at least 5 or 6 of these movies before. He's a billionaire. He wants to do something. You know, with all that money, he could probably invest in a private security force or, you know, improve some of the things that are going around town, or maybe go real, I don't know, socially oriented and start building like groups to help the criminal element to change their ways or something like that. Here's the weird thing about this. I didn't say this movie was a bad movie. I didn't say it was a great movie. I just said, 1, it was a movie. 2, it was okay. I sat through it. I think it's about 45 minutes, way too long. Didn't need all that. And 3, not everything that's out there has to be the greatest thing you've ever seen every time it comes out. Let me just tell you, I just saw Uncharted with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. That movie's a piece of crap. And no one's defending that movie because they know it's a piece of crap. But for some reason, whenever you put the title art around something, suddenly it's elevated to, like, you know, a new level where you either you worship at its feet or you're just a heathen, a Philistine. You don't get anything. You're just no good. Get out of here. You don't know good stuff. I hear that West Side Story is a great movie. I mean, I know people that just love it. I've seen it a couple times. I haven't seen it once, and I'm not going to. You know why? I don't like musicals. I like Steven Spielberg movies. I've seen some of those, and mostly all of them. But I have no desire to watch West Side Story. I have no desire to watch C-SPAN. But that's pretty important too, because it affects my daily life. I thought the musical score was just kind of morose. It was like being at a funeral on Downers. Boom, boom, boom. That's all you hear is this piano. It's like, yeah, I get it. Jesus, should I go put my head in the oven now and blow out the pilot light? Or maybe just put a plastic bag over my head and kill myself? And then here's the other thing. If you say you don't like the Batman movie, suddenly you get attacked. Well, what did you like? Did you like the Spider-Man movie? Well, yeah, I did. I really enjoyed the Spider-Man movie. I saw it twice. I might even go see it a third time. I heard they're going to put new footage in. Well, that's just a audience pleaser. That wasn't a good story. audience pleasing. Isn't that the whole purpose of this entertainment? It's supposed to, like, cheer you up. I'm not looking for, like, deep psychological views of the world when I'm talking about a guy who dresses up as a bat to go fight crime, because it's kind of dumb, but it's just a story. It's just like folklore. It's like Zorro, Robin Hood. It's not real. I mean, The Dark Knight is a much better movie than this movie. It's got a better story. It's better directed. It's better filmed. The cinematography is much better. The action sequences, I can't believe I'm saying this, are better than this movie. I mean, there's like 2 or 3 action sequences in this thing that I could remember. There's a big truck chase which was like cataclysmic events happen. There's more people killed in that like car accident, and Batman just goes away and he's chasing after the Penguin, which makes no sense when you think about it, because why is he chasing him? He knows where this guy works. He knows where he's going to be tomorrow. Just show up and get him there. You don't have to do a high-speed chase. But then out of nowhere, we've got to like do this big, like, Gotham's in danger and it's going to be like attacked by this group, and suddenly there's flooding coming in, and Batman's got to save the day from like this deluge of water that's pouring in, and he's got to save the mayor. And I'm like, whoa, what happened here? And there's this whole sequence with Alfred, and they're in the hospital, and he's holding his hand, and you could have. Let me show you something, Matt Reeves. It's called a pair of scissors. 3-hour movie, 2 hour, 15 minutes. I'll tell you, if it was 2 hours and 15 minutes, one, you could have got more showings in at the theater and they'd made more money. And two, I'd probably like it more, because I'm one of those old school cavalry comes riding in and trumpets blaring and, yay, the hero saves the day. I was just hoping for this thing to be done with. I was just like, Jesus God, can we get to the end of this thing and get it over with? Batman has one of the biggest rogues gallery in all of comic book history. There are other villains out there that could deal with. I mean, it's always got to be the same guys. And yes, spoiler alert, the Joker's in it at the end. Of course he is, because Batman can't fight anybody else. Forget the Man-Bat, forget Clayface, forget you name it. He's got more, trust me. Anyway, I'm going to go back to sleep so I could just go, put the Batman on again. And here's the other thing too. Don't worry about going to see it in the theaters. Just get HBO Max, or just subscribe for 1 week for a free trial and then cancel it, because this is going to be on TV in about 5 weeks. That's how much faith that Warner Brothers has in this movie, that they said, you know what? We need to get subscribers to our online HBO service. So just dump this sucker in the theaters. If they really thought it was going to do well, they'd leave it out there all summer. I mean, Spider-Man's still playing. It's made over $1.8 billion. And Batman's made, 200 million, the biggest pandemic opening. Okay, it's only March. There's only been like 3 movies that have opened up since. So I don't know if that's really like great. That's like saying, I'm number 1 out of 2 guys. Yeah. Uncharted didn't make the money. It'd be funny if another comic book movie, Morbius, that's coming out in about 3 weeks, makes more money than the Batman. That would be funny, because that's not a great story either. But it does involve a guy with bats. So who knows? Anyway, I'm going back to bed. Go to Terrificon. See you this summer.
Thank you very much, Mitch. Mitch has gone back into hibernation mode. And now our second guest, who's going to drop in with another celebrity review, is the one true nerd king, Mr. Phil Taylor. Phil?
To be honest, I think that this was the best Batman I've ever seen. And I say that as a person that was first exposed to Batman in the movie theaters as a young boy. I've been able to grow with Michael Keaton as my original Batman, Batman Returns. Then we get into some of the craziness in between. I wasn't always a very huge Christian Bale fan. Honestly, I dig Christopher Nolan, but as a Batman creator, it was always just too clean. It always just felt a little bit too sterile of an environment. And I just didn't find a lot of belief in that Batman. Anyways, so I was at first a little concerned with Robert Pattinson being cast. I wasn't one of the people that jumped online outraged about it. I was just like, well, we'll see. Not super fan, but whatever. Then I saw Tenet, and I became a much more hopeful, bigger believer in what Robert Pattinson could do to the role, and he killed it. He was great. He was the Batman. Time will tell if he was also the Bruce Wayne. This wasn't a lot of focus on Bruce. This was much more of a focus on him becoming Batman really fully, because it's like he said, I am vengeance. He wasn't Bruce Wayne. He wasn't just the Batman. He was just this ball of anger and energy, and he was getting focused on the right people. Number one biggest beautiful thing out of the entire situation was I don't know, where the hell has Paul Dano been all my life? Can't really consider The Girl Next Door that kind of start, but it was tremendous to see him in this role. I was blown away at the rage he could bring forth. Overall, the casting of this was tremendous. Totoro, I liked Kravitz as Catwoman. I believe she was able to be a much more believable Catwoman than just somebody who's going around stealing shit from rich people all the time. End of the day, I also feel like Andy Serkis maybe could have had a little bit more of a role as Alfred. But again, this really wasn't about Bruce and that dynamic yet. It had its parts, but it wasn't really about that. John Turturro was the epitome of the classic a-hole that he can always be in any movie, and was outstanding. I can't tell you how little I recognized of Colin Farrell as the Penguin, but he was great. Honestly, it was the one scene in the Penguin with the eyes where you could just say to yourself, holy that's Colin Farrell, that's it. And that was probably the best car chase scene I have seen in ages. The most like realistic and raw kind of car chase, and just anger and energy through the entire thing. Amazing movie. I would give this 100%, in my opinion, 5 stars. I don't give that out lightly. I don't give that out often. I'm usually fairly conservative, but this was just a great movie. You don't have to be a Batman fan to jump in and begin to figure out who these characters are and what they're doing. This isn't one of those kinds of reboots either, where you just feel like it took away everything that you used to enjoy. This is totally different. This is Seven meets The Long Halloween. This is anybody that enjoyed that kind of noir and graphic, crazy kind of 70s Saw like vibe that you could get, and then you throw in a Batman cast of characters. That's this movie. It was amazing, 100%. Loved it, and I think you will too. Check it out. And thank you again for having me out. I really sincerely appreciate it. And please find me on Instagram, Clubhouse, YouTube, One True Nerd King. I am there. Twitter. I'm trying to get a little bit of everywhere. So thanks again for your time, and hopefully I can join you guys again soon. Take care.
Thank you very much, Phil, and thank you very much, Mitch, for making those videos and giving us your review. We do have another guest all the way from Gotham City, and this one is very special. So, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the one and only Batman. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Not much, bro. What's the dilly with you?
Have you seen The Batman?
Every morning when I look in the mirror.
No, I mean the movie Batman. The Batman. Have you seen the movie The Batman?
No, it's far too painful.
Because of the trauma?
No, because they cast that cock-teased Pattinson in the lead role.
I mean, he was pretty good in it. He's no Keaton or Bale, but at least the Batsuit didn't have nipples on it.
I heard the Riddle was in it.
It's true. Paul Dano is super fucking creepy in this movie.
I have a riddle for you, Tom.
Okay, hit me.
Why didn't my parents cross the road?
Why?
Because they were dead. God damn you, Gotham City. God damn you to hell.
Why would you say that, man?
To harness my pain and channel it into ball-stomping justice.
Jesus Christ. Can we just get the show started, please?
Welcome to the Too Critical Podcast. Like and subscribe and smash that fucking like button, or I will hunt you down and stomp your balls in the name of justice.
Great job, buddy. Say hi to your mom for me, Bruce.
What the fuck, man?
Da 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 yada da 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 yada da 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 yada.
Beautiful. Loved every second.
You say we'll remake Batman every 5 years and everyone will pay. You cry about nipples on the Batsuit and that gay guy from Broadway is directing. He's Joel Schumacher.
What a miss to not rhyme
What a miss.
Rhyme that with every time his parents die.
We should do it. I'm
gonna do it right now.
We could call John tomorrow and that guy would come down and sing it again and bring his own King George costume. What are we doing?
I don't know.
How
You're
are
the
you
one
now?
that told me we have a surprise guest. I don't know.
Surprise. Okay.
I hope it's not me.
No, that's not a surprise at all. Okay, here we go. Episode 45 of the True Critical. Our special guest is here already? Already? All
I
right,
don't like
here
any
we
of
go.
this. I
Ladies
hate
and
surprises.
gentlemen, ladies and
You wouldn't
gentlemen,
tell me.
ladies and gentlemen, episode 45 of the True Critical Podcast, the review of The Batman with Rob and Luke and our special guest who is joining us right now. So here we go as we get into episode 45, Two Critical Podcast, talking about The Batman. Let's get after it with our special guest.
Hey, I said it was Massey. I predicted Massey, and you said
No,
it
you
wasn't
said
him.
don't let it be Wyman.
No, to Tom.
You said Massey, but I didn't confirm it. I just let him say people's names.
Howdy.
What's happening?
How's it going?
How you doing?
Oh, just swell. How are you?
We're doing great. So here we are, the Fantastic Foursome, the four horsemen of
the apocalypse.
Right, the Batman review.
Which one do I get to be? Which one are you?
You get to be Lucky.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, he's the real cocksure one with the drinking problem, but he learns an important lesson in the end. So it all comes out in the wash. And Alex is the loose cannon. Rob's the smart ass, and I'm the brains.
If the breathalyzer fits.
Mm-hmm. So we've all seen The Batman, Matt Reeves, The Batman. And so Rob, why don't you kick it off? And
Okay. So I really liked it. It was very good, not great. I enjoyed Pattinson in the suit significantly more than I thought I would. I hated him as Bruce Wayne, though. Fucking hated him. I love the way the movie was shot. I love the way it looked. I liked the score. I thought that Paul Dano stole the show, but I also thought Colin Farrell was incredible. Like I was sitting next to Tom and like 3 different times, I think one of us nudged the other one. Like, I just remembered it's Colin Farrell. Like we kept forgetting that it was. Gordon was good. Alfred was not in the movie nearly enough. And one of the big letdowns for me was Tom and I had talked about how having a younger actor like Andy Serkis play Alfred allows some of the storylines where Alfred maybe helped more, not necessarily that I needed him to put the suit on, but he could be more involved. In his opening scene, he walks out with a fucking cane and a limp. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess that's not going to happen today.
You've dashed my hopes quite thoroughly, sir.
But overall, Tom said it was a 7 out of 10. I say 8 out of 10. Pattinson in the suit is probably my favorite Batman in the suit. His fighting style was ferocious and it was all speed and tenacity, no finesse. I really hope in the future they do something to clean up his Bruce Wayne. Maybe there's a meeting with him and Alfred and they're like, we need to differentiate the personas more. So become that playboy, go out to parties, put on an act so that people won't catch on that it's you. I don't want to keep going here because I want to get you guys talking about it. I love that I thought the movie was over right around the time the Riddler was going into Arkham, and we still had an hour left, including a crazy finale in the Gotham Square Garden, whatever it was the Madison Square Garden, I think. But Riddler was diabolical. Catwoman was good. I wouldn't say she was great, but she was really good. I liked her. There wasn't a lot to not like other than, for me, his Bruce Wayne. I kept looking for stormtroopers every time they played the new Batman song. Tom and I should not be allowed to sit next to each other in a movie theater ever again.
Absolutely not.
No, it was there was two things that got us really strongly. Do you remember when Commissioner Block, in the scene when he's talking to Gordon, when all the police have Bruce surrounded, like in the cell, or Batman surrounded in the cell, and Commissioner Block's like, "You really gonna stand up for this guy?" Tom couldn't get over the fucking guy's voice, and so I kept doing impersonations of it, and he was just.
I had my mask pulled up around my neck, and I was doing this because I was fucking crying, laughing into my thing.
But that guy was supposed to be the heavy in that scene. They're surrounded by cops, like 40 cops in that fucking room, right?
Are you gonna take this guy's side, Gordon? Seriously? Gordon, you kidding me? Are you gonna stand up for this guy, Gordon? I'm like, I grabbed Rob. I'm like, this can't be the guy.
And
this can't be the guy.
This is the guy.
What did I say to you? I said he was a combination of Steve Sweeney and a drag queen who smoked too much. And then the other moment that got me is when Alfred is laying in the bed after he's been exploded. Tom, right after Batman says, or Bruce Wayne says to him, you're not my father.
Yeah.
You're not my real dad.
Tom, when he puts his hand out.
Yeah. He reaches out to hold his hand. Alfred reaches out to hold Bruce's hand, right? They've like made up, right? Tom goes, he puts his hand out towards me. He goes, "I want my fucking cufflinks back." In the two, everyone else in the theater is dead silent, and the two of us are like, but they left it linger like they did in the whole movie, and it was on screen for like a few beats, and then I go back to Rob and I go, "Seriously, I want my fucking cufflinks back."
But let's let you guys jump in. My favorite part of the movie, sitting next to Tom, was at one point Batman walked across the room and he goes, "That took him 30 seconds. It took him 30 seconds to walk across that room." But overall, I like the plot. I like the story. I like what Matt Reeves is doing. I can't wait to see the Joker and the Riddler together in whether it's the Arkham series or in the next movie. I like that they're doing Court of Owls. And shout out and thank you to Luke, because I told him I was going to get into the animated Batman stuff, which I never had. And luckily, I watched the Long Halloween part 1 and 2 before this movie, because so much of this movie was the Long Halloween. So I actually understood where it was coming from. So that's enough out of me. You can throw it to one of them and let's see what they have to say.
All right, take it away, Alex.
Yeah, man. So I agree with a lot of what he just said. I thought it was really good. I'm with you. Robert Pattinson as Batman was awesome, but as Bruce Wayne, it was really lacking. It felt like, you look at the way he played Bruce Wayne, and it's like he's just completely out of his mind. Like he just he's tired all the time. Like he's not the playboy that you think of when you think of Bruce Wayne, right?
Right.
And what I did like, I didn't get to watch Long Halloween, but I did read the Frank Miller Batman Year One. And I like how Catwoman in this movie is, to me, very similar to the Catwoman in the book. Colin Farrell, honestly, probably one of my least favorite actors ever.
Yep.
And he killed it, I thought. I had a little bit of a hard time with his accent, though. Because when he's talking, you kind of hear like Al Pacino or something.
I got you.
Yeah. It's like he's trying to mimic Scarface, which I can see that. Like I get where he's coming from.
I got you. Oh shit! I almost got you. I nearly had you.
Come on, you can't turn that into an "I almost had him" reference. Batman the Animated Series, like really?
I almost got you.
That's De Niro. That's De Niro, not Pacino.
That's De Niro, yeah. It's almost a mix. I don't know. Like I heard Pacino, but the way he's acting, it was De Niro.
Right.
How could he flush the toilet? Penguins don't have thumbs, Fokker.
But yeah, I mean, to me, the story was excellent. The way, I mean, really, I didn't have a problem with any of the actors, except maybe, like you said, the original commissioner. What was his name? Not
Block.
What was it? What is it?
Block.
Block. Okay, I didn't like him so much. I didn't think that part was.
That guy's really stressed out though. He's got a lot going on.
Yeah. That's
We got more coming.
Yep.
I like in obviously 89 Batman's my favorite. So I liked Eckhart in that movie.
Me too.
I didn't really like Block in this one.
I thought it was strange that they didn't have the Montoya character, right? In this one.
Yeah. They had what? Rodriguez? Was that the guy?
Yeah. Yeah, and no Bullock. I like both those characters. I don't think anybody's really done them justice.
One person I didn't mention was John Turturro. I didn't know he was in the movie. He came on the screen and I looked at Tom. I go, John Turturro's in this movie? And then I find out he's Carmine Falcone. I'm like, he plays a big role in this movie? I hadn't heard his name mentioned once. I wouldn't say his performance was groundbreaking, but I thought he was really good as Falcone. And I like that they went back to the storyline that Selena Kyle is Falcone's daughter.
Right. Yeah, good marketing.
That was a shock to me. I had no idea about that plot element.
And I know Alex and I had we were messaging back and forth, and we were complaining about every time somebody pulled out their guns that they racked around, including Gordon. Gordon pulled his gun out of his holster and he racked around as Gotham Square Garden was falling around his ears. Yeah, everyone was prepared. All the bad guys racked their guns.
So do we want to talk about GCPD's performance for a hot second here?
Yes.
Sure. Yes, please.
My two of my biggest issues with the movie overall.
Anxiety and depression.
Yes, that's it. Got it in one. The collateral damage that they just don't acknowledge throughout this. Yeah. Let's start with the GCPD. So the two big things that I had with them. Thing one, when they're in a church for a funeral, and I get they need to have a police presence, the guy in the balcony with his rifle just sweeping the crowd. Like,
yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, that's what happens when you give a Remington 308 to an Englishman.
Well, clearly they have no compunction against shooting innocent civilians, because after that whole scene in the cell with Batman and Gordon and everything, he punches them and buggers off. They just open fire in the police precinct, full of people, indiscriminately, just shooting. As you could see all the people on the different levels, and like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Off camera, there was a selectmen's meeting on the 6th floor, and all those people died.
They were there about some electrical budget.
Oh, yeah. Well, problem solved.
And then you go over to the Batman side of things, or the other side of things, like that car chase. How many people died under that overpass?
No.
The tanker exploded?
I'm sorry. You said that car chase. You meant to say the car chase. Yes.
Yeah, the one.
Right.
It took a while to get going because the car needs to warm up.
Did you see all them car chases?
Oh, it's just the one car chase. How many people died during that? How many people died when the seawall broke and they all got flooded through?
Did you notice that? I didn't notice they never made in this movie any reference to Batman doesn't kill people. He doesn't use a gun, but they never said he doesn't kill people.
Yeah, but
I mean, he shot a guy with a gun. It was just in someone else's hand. Apparently that's, I mean, it's like having sex, but as long as there's a sheet in between.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If I'm not holding the gun, if I'm not touching the trigger with my finger, I didn't shoot it.
That sounds very familiar.
He did kill a bunch of people.
Who, Alec Baldwin?
So I'm pretty sure that if you destroy a giant glass dome and send those giant shards of glass raining down on the floor of people in a crisis, they're gonna die.
And everyone that heard the explosion, they do this. They look up, cut to ribbons.
The dogs were all safe because they couldn't look up.
They couldn't look up. That's right.
Dogs can't look up.
Yep.
Oh, they can't.
Big Al says so. But that happened, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You just killed all those people.
And that was his one cool entrance the whole film. So, so obviously my Batman is Keaton, Buster Keaton. He did it long ago. Yeah. So they did a couple of things in the original Batman. Of course, they were doing them practically, like when he would use his grappling hook and then he would get pulled up, right? And then in Batman Returns, he had that thing that fired 2 pitons, one from the front, one from the back, and he slid down to the brick, and then he went inside the door on the top of the building before they started the rooftop fight. Those little things to me are so simple, and they're done practically. I don't know why in this day and age we don't see a guy on a rope swinging from like one building to another. Why haven't we seen
Spider-Man?
But I know it is, and they did practical swings like that in Spider-Man. But why can't they do? They've never done the swing with Batman holding on with 2 hands in that like classic swing into a scene. It's all rigs and wires, and I don't know why they can't do that stuff practically.
Because when he uses his squirrel suit and deploys his parachute under the bridge, we saw what happens. So
I mean, how do you impact under the bridge like that and just walk away? He's clearly just wearing pants.
Can we talk about that?
At least he's not wearing hockey pads.
Solid. But yeah, no, that glider suit scene was like, why? Like, why didn't he just use his cape? Like Arkham,
because it looks cool. It looks cool.
Not
but
really.
It didn't.
To
It
me,
looked
I didn't
weird.
like
He lost his cape. He crashed into a bridge. He just clearly went through something that should have broken every bone in his body, and like you said, just walked it off. And
he took a very long time to use all of his equipment. Like when he was talking to Gordon on the roof, and he starts fumbling around. He's done with his sentence over, reaching in the back. Then they cut to the 2 of them, and he's looking at him, and then he comes out with the rope and he like magnetizes that thing to the beam, and then he like Australian style rappels straight down the beam of the building. He wasn't flying, he wasn't swinging, he was
falling with style,
right? Like
June 2022.
Where are like those big, in Nolan's movie where he put the cape out and would like electrify the thing, and it would so he could glide in that cape. That stuff was great. Why can't we do any of that stuff?
Yep. The movie is not perfect. I still think Dark Knight is better. Dark Knight's still my favorite Batman movie. This is nowhere near the bottom of the list, though. It was very good. I am enthused for the first time since the Dark Knight Rises, because Batman versus Superman and the Snyder Cut have just sucked all joy of Batman out of my life.
Absolute
Sucks
garbage.
Beans. That movie can fry ice on a railroad track. Sorry, Alex.
His fighting style in this was phenomenal. How fast and how hard he fought, I thought that was great.
So the moment that caught me was in the first trailer when he walks up and it's the guys in the sub scene, and I'm like, whatever, it's not going to be a thing. And then he just walks up and goes to town on the guy and just starts wailing him on the ground. Like, that was the moment that sold me.
Do you know that Pattinson convinced them to change that scene in the original shooting? He kicks the shit out of all of them. And Pattinson convinced Reeves that it would be more effective if he beat the life out of one of them, and then the other ones like saw it and had to like run.
It's about sending a message.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds like Harrison Ford just shooting the Arab swordsman to me. Am I right? This sounds like Pattinson had like a long night. He's like, hey, I got a great idea. Why don't I just fight the one guy? So we don't have to do 6 weeks of
no, you got
to
put on the accent. Also, can we just talk about the fact that apparently it rains more in Gotham than it does in Seattle?
It's true.
Created for some real dramatic stuff, some awesome stuff. I'm like, man,
that's a thing I do appreciate. They never did that enough. I don't think that's an element that really makes it more difficult. I love anything that takes place in the snow. Batman Returns was great because of the snow, but they shot it in a goddamn soundstage.
Dark Knight Rises.
I loved all the real snow in Dark Knight Rises and the ice and all that stuff. Any type of element like that, I think is excellent. And it's another level of difficulty for them, which is why I thought it was a 7 and not less than that, because almost every single scene looked like a page, a cell from a comic, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
I actually, so same with Rob, not as good as Dark Knight, but I liked it more than Dark Knight Rises.
So did I.
Actually.
And I think that the Riddler is the second best villain we've seen since the Joker.
I agree.
I still think the Joker was better, but I think the Riddler was fantastic. Him in the cell was awesome. It was that perfect combination of lunatic and hurt and deranged person, but not crossing the line where it's like, okay, like, come on.
Right.
I really
love that aspect. Yeah.
Tom, I was right, by the way. We talked about there was one scene that Paul Dano took 200 takes to do. I was right. It was the scene with the fucking cell phone. It was a scene with him talking into a cell phone.
Okay.
Paul and Matt Reeves said Paul Dano just kept saying, like, let me try it this way. Let me do it this way. I can do it better. And it took him 200 fucking takes for one of the scenes that is literally like an iPhone shot of him. And it's like a shaky shot. And he said
Is
he
that the
did
one
it
with the one taped to the hand phone or
No.
different?
No, it was, I think it's the one where he like flips out. Like there's one where he like really yells and like you almost, it might have been when it was taped to the hand.
Yeah, because he was screaming into
Yeah. But
There
he
was
said
a
he did
time or
it.
two.
He said he did, whichever one it was. I know it was one of the cell phone scenes. Matt Reeves said like every time he did it, it was drastically different. Like it wasn't like, okay, I can do this same thing, but better. Like he went like crazier, then lighter and then crazier. And like he'd be talking in a deeper voice screaming or talking in a quiet voice. And then he was combining all those aspects. And Matt Reeves was like, I mean, if he thinks he can do better, like we'll just keep letting him try it. But at some point you gotta be like, we got a fucking break for lunch. Like these
no
union guys are
kidding.
going on overtime.
The editor is blowing out the pilot light in his fucking kitchen.
I told Tom they probably didn't. I told Tom they probably didn't even have the camera rolling like after the third take. Like Matt Reeves looked over at the guy on the camera. Got it. We got it. Just let him go.
Have fun.
Yeah.
But about that, one of the things that, like you said, in the cell that really stood out for me is the fact that he had that mania, the fact that in his mind he was doing this whole thing with Batman, that they were a team, that the brains and the brawn and combining.
I love
all
the
that.
reveal. I love the reveal that he didn't know it was Bruce Wayne.
What do you mean? What do you mean us? There is no us.
Yeah, they hint at it throughout that it leaves it ambiguous enough.
Wayne,
Bruce.
And then
Boggs,
he's like,
what?
we almost got all of them. And Batman's like, huh? Yeah, we almost got them. He turned into Christian Bale with the voice in
A
that
couple
one
times
scene.
he did.
I know what you're talking about, but why don't you explain so I know that, you know?
I know who I am. I'm the dude playing the dude disguised as another dude. So, I mean, I know, Luke, you said, I mean, Alex, what do you think of the Riddler?
I thought he was cool. The only thing, do y'all know about Zodiac Man? I think is his name.
The Zodiac Killer.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I felt like that was literally just the Zodiac with the Riddler's name.
Of course. Yep.
You know, and I felt like it would have been really cool if they would have just made him the Zodiac and, you know, just taken a chance because it's a lesser known Batman character. Because we've seen the Riddler, we've seen the Penguin, we've seen everybody, but we've never seen, you know, one of those more obscure characters in a live action movie like that. So I think it would have been cool if they would have gone that route instead.
I also think so since, you know, Joaquin Phoenix, his version of the Joker, where he's clearly mentally insane, more mental than most of them. And then they bring in a guy like the Riddler who it's that same theme where he's mentally insane. And it's a thinking man's game. No, they really don't rely on their physical abilities. I don't know why they wouldn't bring in the ventriloquist. I've said this to Luke before.
Oh, yeah, we've talked about this so many times.
Because the guy who is the ventriloquist is like this skinny little nobody, and then the puppet is telling all these goons what to do, and people are scared of this little puppet, and he murders people, and he's able to like run organized crime and stuff like that. And that is mental illness. That reeks of mental illness.
I would love to have a short or a series. It doesn't even have to be like a full length but it would still be awesome, of the ventriloquist. Again, we've had enough conversations about this and the different ways that you can go with that, especially how you can end that with the interaction between the ventriloquist and Scarface, or whatever dummy that they're using for that in particular, and how impactful that ending could be.
Yeah.
I think that is exactly the vehicle they should use the Arkham Asylum series for. So they were going to do a Penguin series and a Gotham PD series. They changed their mind. They're doing a Penguin series and an Arkham series. And I think that's a spot where we can take some of the characters that we've never seen before that maybe aren't worthy of a main scene in a movie or being a main villain in a movie. And we can at least introduce them and set it up. And maybe down the road, if they decide they have a cool story where they can have them be one of the main villains, then they can do something with it. But that's a great spot. Like, can you imagine, like, if the Riddler and Joker are trying to have a conversation in the corner during playtime and the fucking ventriloquist is over there talking with his doll?
Yes.
Like that would be great.
Or he has a guard that works in Arkham that only listens to the doll. Like he has people like flipped, like believing all the stuff that was the crazy part about that guy,
That was the crazy part.
Yeah. DC isn't smart enough Warner Brothers isn't smart enough to do this. They're not smart enough to have a series like that where they can say they do 10 episodes and at the season finale of the Arkham show, they have a crossover with the next movie that's going to start, the next Batman movie, and Pattinson comes in for the last interrogation scene, and then the Pattinson film starts with that interrogation scene that is the finale of the, like, they're not smart enough to do that.
I think they might. I think you might be wrong about that.
There's no way.
I'm giving Matt Reeves the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, but you got to understand, Matt Reeves is the type of guy that, to him, and this is one of the worst parts of having, what's his name?
Herpes.
Yeah, Alfred.
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis. One of the worst parts about having him.
We also made a million Wakanda jokes during the movie too.
Yeah.
I was gonna go for the Batman.
He is now pushing publicly for all kinds of Oscars for this movie because Andy Serkis is now a director himself. So, but Matt Reeves is an art house guy who just happens to be making studio films, and he's really making them the way that he wants. With the success so far of the Batman, if it's super successful, they will give him more opportunities. But he's the guy who doesn't like the big movies, and he doesn't want to get into doing the franchise stuff. So it doesn't matter what happens. If he doesn't want to do it, he won't.
Yeah, but even if he makes 3 Batman films and they don't bring in Superman and they don't start the new Justice League, if he lays a good groundwork, Warner Brothers will just say, okay, you're sure you don't want to keep doing this? All right, great, get the fuck out. And then they'll just replace him. But just don't replace him with Joel Schumacher.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you don't have to worry about that anymore.
And as much as, I don't love the Bruce Wayne character in this film, he's on screen for 10 minutes of a 3-hour movie.
Right.
Now, I would actually like to see a little more Bruce Wayne, but I want to see the Batman. Like, I want it to be a Batman movie, which it was. I mean, I don't think we've ever seen so much screen time in the suit. I mean, I'm not even talking about straight up time because I know it's a longer movie. Right. Ratio of time. It's the highest percentage of time that he's been in the suit by far, which I'm good with that. I think that's great. I'm curious to see with Catwoman going to Bloodhaven, Matt Reeves, if he really wants my respect, which he has it already, but
give Catwoman a better hat.
No, you bring Robin in, but actually do it well.
You should go by your first name. It's so nice, Robin.
I would love to see. I mean, it was always Batman and Robin, right? Growing up, if someone said Batman, you went Robin. Like it was the two of them.
I mean, give me Nightwing. I'd be happy with that. Nobody's done a live action Nightwing.
And you see, speaking of DC and all their glory, The Flash and Aquaman 2 were just pushed to next year.
Why?
Oh, and Black Adam got pushed back 3 months also.
Are you serious?
Why?
Yeah. COVID. I don't know. I'm making that up. I don't know. Probably because they're shitting themselves. Because even though we like this movie, it is getting killed in the box office in terms of profit compared to like No Way Home. It's the only thing I can think of is they're going, we need to give ourselves more time to market this, because No Way Home proved that you can make a shitload of money even during COVID. And COVID restrictions are better everywhere now than they were when No Way Home came out. And as much as I like the Batman, and I would say I like the Batman as much as No Way Home, probably about even. I really like both of them. It's getting, I mean, what did I tell you, Tom? What did it make on its opening weekend? 280 worldwide? 260?
I saw 134.
That was domestic.
That was domestic.
So I think it was like 230, but like we looked
Usually
up,
is.
but then we looked up No Way Home was like 6.
I thought it was like 5 something.
Yeah, it was more than double.
Right.
So that's the only thing I can think
and
of.
it's been in the theater since the second week of December.
And I don't understand why this movie is only going to be in theaters for 45 days and then go direct to HBO Max. And I also think, and even if Matt Reeves never wants to bring Superman into it, I think it was a huge miss to come out and say that 2 weeks before the movie comes out. Because then so many people that are like, all right, we're going to get a new cool Justice League. And he goes, I'm never doing Justice League. It's like, all right, go fuck yourself then. I don't care.
Right.
I'm surprised that they, to your point, that they announced that it was coming out on HBO so soon. Because like, especially
before the movie even came out.
Yeah.
My wife was planning on seeing the movie.
My wife.
I'm seeing the movie a second time with my sons. I saw it the first time with Tom, obviously. My wife was planning on coming with us. When I told her we can watch it in our living room in 40 days, she went, I'll wait.
Mm-hmm.
That was the reason if it was in 3 months, she would have went and seen it.
Right.
Sure.
It's just terrible marketing to say something like that, right before the movie comes out.
And it's probably $200 million worth of marketing.
If it's going to to HBO Max in 45 days, you wait till the 44th day and go, surprise, motherfucker! It's on HBO Max now.
Like I said before, the Catwoman's mask.
Pitiful.
Really, she has that awesome suit, and then
she ran out of materials, Luke.
In these trying times, the supply ran out.
I did
Gotham's
feel
broke.
Yep. Fair enough. Well, then they got that renewal fund. Do anything with that.
Yeah.
I do feel another miss that they had as far as the plot is that they leaned way too heavily on the previously established relationship between Batman and Catwoman. They feel like they've really forced it in this, in that literally she's talking about how her very much like living a like implied girlfriend is missing, presumed dead, and then they're talking this close. And suddenly, like,
she got over Ani's death real quick.
Like that.
Like, if my wife gets over my death that quick, you tell the cops it was her.
She literally found her body in a bag and then was just like, hey,
I'll switch to cock.
Yeah.
Like, what just happened?
I mean, in her defense, she's probably been crushing on Robert Pattinson since 2008. So, what are you gonna do?
Fair enough. I was talking with a friend of mine earlier, actually, and they were talking about the fact, I have those. It's shocking, I know. Well, so I mean, my friend, it's me. I'm my own best friend.
I feel like this is the UPS guy.
It's Jake from State Farm.
Jake from State Farm. Anyway, about the fact that Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne in this movie looked more like a vampire than he ever did in Twilight.
Yes.
Yeah, he was goth emo Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, and like the t-shirt and then just the sultry look and the hair over the.
I was surprised that he wasn't listening to Fall Out Boy in the Batmobile.
We don't know that he wasn't.
And why wouldn't he like pipe up and say, look, guys, we gotta, like, I can't put sunglasses on in my living room and be like look at the sun coming in the window. Like,
he gets out of the Batmobile. He gets out of the Batmobile. Selena's like, what were you listening to? He's like, that's Death Cab for Cutie.
It's not a car.
Yeah, that the parts were just laid out on the table, and the next time we see it, it's just all set.
I mean, so
we did. How many minutes of the Batcave did we see? 2, 3, 1. God
2.
damn it!
I mean, it took the car 28 seconds to start up. Right? It was a jet turbine. Right? It was the loudest thing in Gotham City, and it's got lights everywhere.
It used more power than anything but the Bats.
I will never ever understand why the Batmobile needs headlights, running lights, brake lights, fog lights. It needs no lights. He should have a HUD on his screen, and it should look like daytime inside. See, again, and they've never done anything like this either.
He could use sonar like on a
submarine. Very good. It should look like daytime inside his car when he's looking out. Like they should show the inside of it.
But he got in that car. He was in the car. He starts the car. The bad guys now know he's there. They're all standing outside. He waits till they run around all of their vehicles, get in their vehicles, start driving away. All right, now it's time.
Well, they had to reload too.
Gotta make it dramatic.
He could have just been on fucking foot. He had time to hit them.
Yeah.
Instead, he's.
He needed the practice.
Yeah, I had a big problem with the fact that he wasn't stealthy when he should have been. Every time he walked into the room.
How loud were those boots?
Yeah, as a 600-pound man. Good.
But he snuck
for
up
30 seconds.
But he snuck up on Catwoman all the time.
Right. Yeah.
It's all about the motivation.
Do you think the reason behind that was like, you know, when you see his first appearance, do you think that was just an intimidation thing, or?
I think you might be onto something there, because it did seem like the times where his boots were audible before we could see him, it was all times where he didn't really have to be stealthy. So I do hear what you're saying.
Well, to that point, Tom, I have the talking stick. It's my turn.
Tom,
they were talking about like the people doing like the petty crime beforehand, the guy that robbed the store and the people spray painting the bank and everything like that, how he was creating that presence of them being afraid of him, being in the shadows, even when he wasn't there, and creating that whole aspect of it. And so exactly to Alex's point, I think it was for the intimidation factor. He didn't have to be sneaky. Stop making that face. So he went and played it up to build that mounting fear. It's like the T-Rex when you see the water droplets in the cup and you know what's coming. Sounded about the same too.
So have any of you guys ever seen like a scuba diver in the water? And so
I've scuba dove.
So like the camera is on like another diver in the water and he's like feeding fish or whatever. And then literally out of nothing behind him just emerges a great white shark, like 3 feet over his shoulder. There's no sound.
You're just recounting your nightmares.
But what I'm saying is, if all those guys were staring into the abyss and they were waiting for something to come out, and
that's what they said about my high school girlfriend.
And they called her Hoop. When he just walked out and made no sound whatsoever, and the light just made him show up, I think that is equally scary.
Probably really.
Like if they showed a cop like looking through stuff in,
are you a cop, or do you want to appear to be a cop?
If they showed a cop like looking through stuff in the house,
all right, true,
in the shot was from the side, and then they cut to Gordon, and then when they cut back, Pattinson was standing next to that cop, and they did little jump scares like that, and there was no sound. That I think would have been more effective than him tromping around in those boots with laces.
I agree.
First time we've seen boots with laces. Okay.
They zipped up the side.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
you and I were talking about this before on the lines of kind of interesting things there with not a lot of gadgets. And, honestly, like the stuff they did, I would have been fine with. Again, to go in the realistic aspect, the thing that really got me, no batarangs. He had the one thing in his chest that he used to cut the things, but he's around all these guys shooting and everything. And they basically have him in invincible armor as the answer for his ranged options, instead of having that iconic, there's a guy with a firearm, I'm going to stop him with a batarang.
But right. I think if this is truly year one of him being Batman,
2.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. He's a newly minted Batman. He's not a veteran yet. If they are going to slowly build up the tech every movie, I'm okay with it. If this is all they're going to give him for tech, I'm not okay with it. Yeah, so if him and Alfred get in the lab, like I'd love to see them have a fucking whiteboard in the back cave with like ideas.
Whoa, why not a blackboard, Rob? My God.
Whoa, hey, they already made the commissioner. I mean. You got the Catwoman and the Commissioner. You want the board too?
Jesus Christ, Jim. We don't gonna
Jesus,
you know how much money we spent on blackboards, Jim?
Jim, you're gonna back this white Batman, Jim? They wanted a black one. They said Idris Elba, Jim.
I'd watch that. Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan could have been Batman. Now he's gonna be Superman. Superman. You happy now, Jimbo? Huh? My wife's cooking sucks. I'm a cop. I have to talk about my wife.
So we talked a lot about the Riddler. I thought that the Riddler army, whatever you call it, I thought that was one of the better. Yeah, the Riddlets. I thought that was one of the better plot. That might have been the best plot twist I've ever seen in a Batman movie. It's that, or when the Joker lied about where Harvey and Rachel were in the Dark Knight, and Batman busts through the door and it's Harvey sitting there. Those are the two best plot twists, but I think this was better because I was convinced the movie was over or nearing completion.
So when they had when he was doing the live stream, I pointed to you because we had made a big deal about the mask and the jacket being super cheap. Now we understand why.
It's said on there, you can buy it at an Army Navy store.
Yep.
So Tom's biggest criticism is the Riddler's outfit's bullshit. You can buy it at Army Navy, but it's not bullshit if they tell you that.
That's right. Well done.
Hey, just go to the Army Barracks.
Army Barracks. Yep.
Yeah.
So fuck, what else were we
I'll interject then to the point in all the show, a lot of the like Batman animated series or any of the animated movies or anything like that, to that point of like the Riddler army, all of that, especially if you see it in like the Arkham Asylum games, every one of these like top tier like court villains and everything like that, part of their evil league of evil, they all have their
Eagle
LLC. LLC.
Exactly.
Esquire.
They all have their specifically themed goons. Like the Joker has like
TM,
Curly, Moe, and Larry in some of the animated stuff.
No one ever names them in that order. What are you doing?
Well, Moe, Curly, Shep.
Move on with your life. No one has ever said Curly, Moe, and Larry.
You just did, just then.
In an order that would surprise you.
That's the veg.
I love the fact that they didn't make Thomas and Martha Wayne saints.
Yeah,
I thought that was great. Sorry, I didn't mean to change the subject, Luke. I was just making fun of you because the order in which you named the Three Stooges. Continue your point.
Get back to the Bowery Boys. Go ahead.
But at least we just got a clip for Instagram because when that just happened, my mind is blown.
Yes, but I very much enjoy the fact because again, in a lot of that stuff, they have their own, like they have their goons, they have their own organizations, their syndicates, and they played that up with the getting those followers and having them be in that uniform.
Yeah, Luke's really looking forward to Robin and Batman.
Yeah, but I did like how much this movie kind of mirrored the Arkham games because that's my favorite game series ever.
Oh, yeah,
so
it's phenomenal.
Yeah, so. I liked that feeling. Getting to see that in live action was really cool.
Right. It definitely plays up the Arkham City aspect of it too, with that, going through the city and all the different elements, and again finding those goons. It's sorry, I was just looking at Tom and Rob over here. Just
I was trying to decide if I could pull off an impersonation of Alex because I was going to do one and talk about how silky smooth his voice is, and he's got those southern rugged good looks where like he's probably intelligent, but he also could fix your tractor.
He could also steal your missile delivery system with his tractor.
That's my point. Like he's not country hick. He's like CIA country hick. Like he was raised in the country, but he went to MIT.
He's like Jack Reacher.
I'll give you
he's my Jack Reacher. Yeah. So I thought it was certainly entertaining. It looked really good. They got a long way to go. Like, and Rob had mentioned, if the next movie is more about him being Bruce Wayne, then the trade-off is going to be you're going to get 60-40. 60% Bruce Wayne, 40% Batman, then people will bitch, oh, there's not enough Batman, it's not a Batman movie. Like, I
don't know if I need more Bruce Wayne.
No, I don't
just
care
need
about his
better
relationships.
Bruce Wayne.
Right.
I
just
want
need better.
I want like 65-35, but the 65 is Batman. Only
Right.
35 Bruce Wayne. I think that would be right.
If you show him as Bruce Wayne and he's doing like the Nolan films, he was doing.
Can he do some
deals.
push-ups
Yeah.
or push-ups?
He was doing deals in the movie. He was buying companies that were helping Batman win and helping Batman beat guys and helping Batman get technology.
Maybe
right?
that's where we get the technology. Maybe as part of the persona change, when they say we got to separate Bruce from Batman, maybe he starts getting more involved with Wayne. And maybe when he gets more involved with Wayne, a Lucius Fox comes along.
Right.
And maybe that's the next evolution. The Bat car needs to change.
Yeah.
It's not the worst Batmobile ever. I mean, Michael Keaton had to make a 70-point fucking turn if he had to just take a right. But
it turned his head.
Yeah, I think there's far more to like about this movie than there is to complain about, which step one, because it's been a while since I've enjoyed Batman on screen. But I like that Matt Reeves has said he wants to do the Court of Owls, which I really want to see. I am intrigued by the fact that he says he wants to do Mr. Freeze, because I think that's really hard to pull off in this style universe.
Yes.
I think it would have been hard for Nolan to pull off Mr. Freeze. This is even darker and less tech savvy. So I don't know how they're going to do that. I joked with Tom that the director's cut for this movie was going to be a huge hit because it's cut down to 2 hours. It's actually going to be 4 hours. But this movie, I could easily see, I will watch this movie a ton once it's on digital at home. But I will watch it.
Days.
I will watch it in an hour and a half, though.
Right. Yeah. Fast forward from him walking.
Okay. Yep. We're back here.
Yeah.
Well, what was it? 20 minutes of slow motion in the Snyder Cut, right?
Yep.
20 minutes. They added 20 minutes to the movie just in slow motion.
It's overindulgent there, and it seems like Warner Brothers, they send so many mixed messages. It's like, so they'll let a guy go all in and be totally overindulgent, and yet they won't step in and like trim the fat on a lot of stuff that they should trim.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
thank God that cop at the end of the movie's uncle used to do carpets for a living. That's all I have to say.
The case never gotten solved. Yeah, the
Batman can solve every riddle in 2 seconds.
Right.
The second the Riddler says it, he can solve it, but he doesn't know what glue looks like on the back of a murder weapon.
Also,
I have this technology where I can see every. I love the eye scan. That's fantastic.
Like that,
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And it helps explain a lot down the road. Like if they want to do things where like I didn't see that, and you can go back and watch it.
Or it could totally fuck them too, because it'd be like, how come he could see everything? How come he didn't know about that or didn't remember it?
But I like that tech. I was really happy with that. But yeah, he's so smart and figures out every riddle. Like when was it Peter Sarsgaard or what's his name?
Yeah, one of them.
Is it Peter? Yeah. One of the Sarsgaards.
Yeah, here's
So
the DA.
there's a Sarsguardian of the galaxy that's the DA, and he is, he's getting these riddles, and Batman takes 0.2 seconds to solve them because he's a super genius, which is fine. Batman, Bruce Wayne's supposed to be very smart.
Yeah.
But then, like, he saw that tool, he never noticed the glue on it.
Yeah.
If that cop wasn't on duty,
yeah. How much carpet is Bruce Wayne laying though in his life? Am I right?
not much. Hopefully, in the future when Selena comes back, you know what I'm saying? With this little orphan from the circus that she finds. Maybe they'll adopt him. Maybe that's the storyline. Selena and Bruce adopt Robin.
We are family.
Vin Diesel's in it?
Oh, Hannah means
Maybe he's-
Hannibal.
That's not bad, but I can beat you. Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind.
Was-
Man, I'm
was-
Stitch.
Was I the only one that thought the mayor's son was going to be Robin?
I think he still might be. They made a lot of references, not references. There was a lot of shots of that mayor's son going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. No one paid. People paid zero attention to that kid. Zero. I also loved how the was it the mayor? She was shot in the stomach.
The new mayor. She won the election.
Yeah.
Mayor Real. Real.
Belle Real.
Yeah. She was shot in the
Real
stomach, and then
Madrid.
at the end of the movie, she's just like swimming out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Swimming in all that disgusting water with that gunshot wound. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's gonna pan
Well,
out.
I'm sure the water coming from the river outside Gotham is perfectly clean.
Totally
Yeah,
clean. Yeah, because of the clean energy provided by Tony Stark.
I tell you what, though, those Ridlettes, other than the one that hit the new mayor, they shoot like stormtroopers.
Oh yeah,
He was literally just hanging there, and they're just
I just can't hit him.
with scoped rifles.
I was gonna say, like, why does 90% of them have 70-year-old bolt actions? Why are we not seeing like
UK baby.
Yeah, just didn't make sense. Like that doesn't make sense. I hate little details like that.
Yep.
When he got hit in the chest with the shotgun and had no damage, that's when I knew the armor was good.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
I mean, that was from point blank range, right? He got.
Sure.
Am I crazy? He got hit in the chest with the shotgun from like 2 feet away.
Right.
We gotta hurry. Luke's got a beauty pageant to get to.
Hot day. All right. Well, it's good. We're getting close to 7:00 anyway, so we should probably wrap it up anyway. All right.
bell on
So, yeah, it was good. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Rob gave it an 8 out of 10. Luke,
6.7.
6.7. Interesting.
Too critical.
I think I had initially given it like an 8.5.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. It was good. It was a decent watch. I hope it doesn't win any Oscars whatsoever at the box office because they fucked Spider-Man. And there's no way that anybody can justify this movie winning awards over the highest grossing movie ever.
I mean, The Dark Knight should have been nominated for Best Picture, and it wasn't. So
Yep, absolutely. They continue
Yep.
to put down.
I told Tom they need to make a new category where it's no longer Best Picture, it's Most Successful Picture, or like Best Received. Like I don't know how to word it because successful means you can just go to box office numbers. There's no voting, there's no tally. It's just a numbers thing. But there needs to be like a most popular movie category because these movies are what's driving the industry, not the King's Speech. No one gives a fuck about Colin Firth stuttering.
But it's amazing. It's amazing to me that
You're amazing to me.
Thank you. The comic book movies, they win the majority of the Oscars because they sweep the technical categories.
I was gonna say it's all technical, imaging, effects,
Right.
music. They
Yeah.
don't win any of the acting other than the joke. You got to die to win it for acting.
Right.
You have to die.
So how can they even say that the movies aren't important? Like in all the guys that win the scientific Oscars, a couple weeks prior, who actually create groundbreaking technology and make patents for equipment
I'm
to,
not joking.
to make
This is
filmmaking.
This is scientific Oscars.
Yeah.
The fuck are you talking about?
They don't put them on TV because it's just a bunch
What,
of
like,
nerd
fuck,
shit.
are we talking like Bill Nye or Tesla? What are we like?
No, so like so
I mean, please, YouTube, chime in here. Am I crazy that I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about?
No fucking clue.
So
I've been working on my tractor. I don't know.
so I've been stealing tanks.
I took a Quinjet and I put the turbine in my tractor. I'm on my lawn in 15 minutes. I'm home in time for my honey and a glass of Jack Daniels.
So Dijkstraflex is the name of the camera equipment that they designed when they shot Star Wars. So it's the moving camera.
Like
that
Lenny
they shot-
Dykstra?
Yeah, exactly.
Nails?
So that's the technology that they had to build to make Star Wars. So that technology became called Dijkstraflex. Like the guy that invented the Spider Cam, that came out of
Spider
motion
Cam is a
pictures.
much better name than Dijkstraflex.
So
You
also you're
change your
telling
name
me
to Latrine?
good change. Good change.
So these
You're
guys
telling me they invented that like new camera technology, but they populated the background field with tennis balls and old shoes?
Exactly.
Telling
Yes.
me a shrimp fried this rice?
What?
You telling me a shrimp fried this rice?
Looks and personality. Double threat guy.
So yeah, but they have a whole other night where they give Oscars to all the scientific guys because they don't want them on television. It's not interesting.
Well,
to them.
the flux capacitor was a great invention and a good.
Yep. And
Flux
almost
capacitor, fluxing.
almost every year, especially the last 4 years, they've cut Oscars that they put on television, and people are fucking insane about them. So I just don't understand. Action films, comic book films are more they're technically more difficult to make, logistically more difficult to make, more demanding. They're just harder to make than just people sitting in a room having dialogue scenes with each other. I don't see the challenge in that. Good storytelling, yes, that's fine. You can give people Oscars for story, but if it's good, even if it's a comic book film or it's like a family situational drama or something like that, just be objective about it. But they can't.
I'm just saying, don't knock people sitting around talking in a room. I think that's a real great premise and a lot of good work done being done there.
All right, I know Luke has to go real quick before they go. I'd love to get their opinions. I don't know if you've seen it yet. Obi-Wan Kenobi teaser trailer came out today.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
I saw that.
I thought it looked fantastic.
When the Duel of Fates music came up, I was like,
oh
boy.
that was amazing. My issue is that the same thing with the Star Wars Rebels animated series with the Inquisitors, those goofy spinning lightsabers that they used to fly around occasionally. I hate those things, but
I love
look amazing.
The Disney logo at the end when the lightsabers.
Yes, that was amazing.
Maybe the best part of the trailer, other than watching Luke's as a young Luke play on VR while Ben Kenobi's creeping from the distance. I thought it was very smart that they didn't show any Darth Vader in the trailer. I think Darth Vader should be a total secret, whether he's in one episode, 3 episodes, or all of the episodes. We shouldn't know until we watch it.
I think if you get any huge cameos, it will be in that movie, and it'll be
Palpatine's in it. Palpatine was in the trailer.
But like a de-age. If you get like a de-aged Han Solo or something like that, I think it would be the Obi-Wan series.
Yeah.
And I like that they showed, there was one shot where they showed someone being hung in like a crowd, like the public, right? I hope it's a little more adult than The Mandalorian and Boba Fett. I want a little bit more of an edge to the Obi-Wan series, in my opinion.
I feel like we're not going to get it just because of, again, the platform and everything. One thing unrelated to that I am intrigued about if they're going to do or not is because they made the illusion at the end of Solo, as well as it again in the Rebels cartoon, the animated series, which they've clearly drawn some inspiration from, of Darth Maul coming back and hunting down Obi-Wan. So I'm very interested, especially because
isn't Darth Maul dead? Am I fucking crazy here?
In a lot of the additional stuff in the extended universe, he didn't die when he fell down the shaft. He ends up getting like basically robot legs and comes back because he just keeps himself sustained through the power of the Force.
All right, JP, we'll have your mom come pick you up.
You'd understand if he had robot ears. But it's pretty common.
Bye, JP. Please sit on my face.
JP. But it's pretty common in a lot of the other stuff that Darth Maul comes back, hunts down Obi-Wan and Tatooine.
Listen, when I was a kid and I first saw Darth Maul, I thought he looked badass on screen, but then I saw the movie. So maybe they'll bring him back and they'll make him badass. Who knows?
They retcon everything else. Why not Darth Maul?
Yeah. You're going to get mauled.
I mean, when you get
cut with the tagline.
When you get cut with the lightsaber, doesn't it cauterize the wound like instantly? Yeah. Isn't that what laser bolts do too?
Exactly.
He's
fine. He's fine. Yeah. He's got the Force.
Well, yeah. Someone with the Force to show up and then just save him, like Kylo Ren. Right? Rey shows up, but then someone has to die, right? That Jedi dies when they bring him back to life. I don't know how it works.
There can only be 2.
Is this like a horror movie? You can't die if you're a virgin? I don't.
I'll live forever.
And with that.
And in that note, all right. Been great talking with you guys. Glad we could have this chat. I'm going to go.
All right.
You can tell all 3 of us are from the Northeast and Alex isn't, because I would love to hear him talk more, but he just lets us fucking talk over each other and he sits there the whole time. Fucking hell, I can't get a word in edgewise, but they seem to be having a good time with themselves. So I'm just going to sit here and be handsome and I don't care. I mean, they can do whatever they want.
I always have a good time with myself, Rob.
Oh, no. He's got an Alex impression. Oh, no.
It's not very good. I don't have the silky smooth pipes that he does, but I'm going to work on it. And, maybe one day I'll be able to talk to you about, when I met Harrison Ford over at that hangar, and Tom can go on to retell the story in a total different way other than how it actually happened.
Sounds about right.
That was good. Keep working on it.
I have a podcast called I'm Working on It Too.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Episode 45 of the Two Critical Podcast, The Batman, with Luke Chapdelaine, Alex Massey, and Rob Cunface McGillicuddy. Until next time, we will see you again. Please check out our podcast wherever podcasts are sold. Check out our YouTube channel. And if you don't like us, tell your friends. If your friends don't like us, get some new fucking friends. Thanks, everybody.
Jim, you're really going to back this guy? He doesn't subscribe to the fucking podcast, Jim.
We sincerely hope you enjoy the program. Please check us out where all podcasts are sold and check out our YouTube channel as well. Thank you for listening and thank you for your support. If you don't like the show, go fuck yourself.
Ra-da-da-da-doo.